So that's the first page. This one now, we're looking at data comparing the hours 10 students spend playing video games versus their grade point average for the same individuals. You wonder if I've got a message here to tell you. Student spent 88 minutes gaming and had a grade point average of a really strong, what is that, a strong A, so that's not too bad. And here's more gaming and a lower grade point average, very little gaming and a high grade point average. Okay, so I have saved a little bit of time by putting this into the calculator already, but if you're going to do it, you'd hit Stat, go to Edit. Here's L1, here's L2, making sure the lists are good. There's the data. When I go to find the graph, I can simply do Zoom, and then 9 is Zoom Stat. If you go down there, and there it is, Zoom Stat. And there's my data. So it looks like as the minutes gaming and GPA are compared, that you get some data that's going like this, and then it's kind of going down. I'm making my dots really quickly here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and then 1 down there. And I would label this, hit the window. This is going from, X is going from about 1.5 to, so yeah, it's like almost 0 up to 350. I'm going to make that 0 to 350. I could rearrange my window just to show that a little bit more clearly. And then this is going from about 2.3 to 4.0 right there. Okay, so just put those in. Then here we're asked to find, that's a 0 right there, the median value of the gaming hours. So gaming has not been put in order, so I should find the middle value by quickly doing that. But if I count, this is the gaming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are the two that I'm looking for. I guess I better just list those out. So the most is, or the least is 30, then 60, and I'm going to put a little check mark by each of those, then 88, then jumps all the way to 176, I think, and then, oh nope, 122, sneak that in. This is why you check them off. Then 210, and up in 150. Oh my goodness, I'm bad, but that is all right. And then 230, and then yep, 248. Thought I'd missed another one. And then finally 316. So I just need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 is like that. So these are the two. So 150, they're lined up nicely for me to add them up, so I can divide by 2. That's one handy little benefit. That's 2, 3, 26 cut in half is 150 plus 13. 163 is the median value. Okay? You average the two in the middle if you are with an even data set. The mean value of the gaming hours. Okay, so if I go back to my calculator here and go to my, let's see, calc, single variable stats, hit enter. I want that to be L1, so I can just hit enter, 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 and it will tell me my there's my average is 163. Wow, that's kind of amazing that the average value is also the middle value. That is a total fluke, and in a test, if I were to ask that, that would very likely not be true. That is a total coincidence. Alright, the mode for the GPA is the value that occurs most often, and that 3.1 jumps out at me. So that's the mode value. The best fit line is going to be found on your calculator. Okay, so to do the best fit line, you simply go to Stat, go over to Calc, and it's the lin reg line you want to hit. So hit 4, and then hit enter, enter, and enter. And when you get to here, you can store this right into your calculator by hitting the vars button. then going over, hitting that, and then choosing an equation to patch it into, and then doing that. You can also just write down these values. So that's the slope. Write down at least 4 digits. There's the intercept. This tells you the correlation coefficient. It's minus 0.9. We'll talk about that in a moment. All right, 0.95. So when I go to graph, there it is. Okay. I didn't say to sketch it, but that would actually be a good thing to do, just to kind of sketch it in there like that. And I would say then y equals negative 0.124835 plus 3.958. Something like that would be good. My guess is that this is negative because it's going down, and I would guess that it's pretty close. I'd say about negative 0.9. Okay. That I will take anything and give you good credit. Anything over about 0.7 and anything that's negative. That's a very important part. A positive correlation goes up and a negative correlation goes down. Draw a box and whisker plot to represent the gaming minutes of data. Now that I've got this organized up at the top right there, I'm going to be looking at that. You might not be able to see it, but I know that if I just sketch a basic box and whisker, I can fill in the data, and then I can sketch it with an appropriate scale. That smallest value is 30. The biggest value is 316. My middle value is 163. And then the median of the upper half, if I go back to this, the median of this is the upper half, right there. That's going to be 230, and the median of the lower half is 88. So 88 and 230. So maybe you don't have to, but I'm just going to be a little bit obsessive about this. There's 0 to, if there's 100, 200, if that's 300, then 30 is about right there. 88 is going to be below 100, about there. 163 is slightly above halfway. This is 200, 250 would be about there, 230. So that's what the box will look like, and the whisker then goes out to about that far. So again, there's 30, 88, 163, and 230, and 316. Now the question of whether or not there are outliers, I'm going to subtract these two. So 230 minus 88 is going to be 142. Well, when I multiply that by 1.5, that is going to be a big number. That's going to be plus 71. That's going to be 213. So there's no way that if I add 213 onto this, my fence is way out there. And if I take away that, my fence would be way out there. So no outliers, not even close. But you need to be able to show me why it is, and it's because that fence is too far. Plus 213 is way the heck out there. All right. Using a calculator, find the standard deviation of the gaming minutes above. Okay, and that's what we did. Oops, I did it badly. Stat, calc, and there it is. The standard deviation is this number, 85.6. Standard deviation is 85.6. Make sure you do not use the SX number. Okay, that was in one of the review tests. We're not doing that. Not this time. And by hand, you would simply figure out the X bar, which is 163. You'd subtract all those data points. You'd have 88, and you'd have 176, and you'd subtract 163 from each of them. And when you got that number, you'd square it, and then you'd add it to all the other ones that are squared, and then you'd divide by 10, and then you'd square root the whole thing. That's by hand. By hand. All right? You can know to do that for extra credit. Alright, there's our first installment.